Goeiedag, good day, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world.
I've been looking around for salvation. I've been looking around for the truth. All around me I see frustration, and I looked all over till I found you. I sit and listen to your stories, and you're telling me, please don't worry. There's a lot in this world you should know, and love in life is where you should go. If you're looking for somewhere to go, if you're looking for someone to know, if you're looking for someone to guide you, then love in life will guide you.
Goeienaand, good evening, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. Well, tonight it's going to be a bit of a bikey night. And bikies know how to party, and my gosh, did they have a party over the weekend. Over 2,500 bikers, to be precise, but we'll be going into those details shortly. I'm going to show you a couple of short little video clips which will whet your appetite, especially if you enjoy motorbikes. Here we go. Okay, well, that's plain. I'm just going to get our guest on and we'll get the show on the road. Here we go. Dr. Andre Hattingh, who is the fellow who organizes this, and he's doing fantastic work for charity. Let me just get Andre on. Hi, Andre.
Hi, Scott. I'm just going to try and connect this video again.
Not a problem.
It should be working in a second. Is that okay? Can you see me?
Yes, I can. Absolutely perfect. And while I've got you on, I've got one of the video clips playing, which is one of thousands of motorbikes going along this long, straight stretch of road. And
Yes.
yeah.
It gives you goosebumps, doesn't it?
Oh, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So Andre, for those people who don't know you, tell us a bit about your project to help basically disadvantaged children in South Africa.
Sure. Okay, I'm a retired surgeon. I retired in 2016, especially to launch Paediatric Africa. It's a long story, but it's a promise I made in 1994, a long time ago. So we've been going for 7 years now. We have 5 basic programs with Paediatric Africa. The first one is 1,000 surgeries for 1,000 children program. Exactly what the name says, 1,000 surgeries for 1,000 children. That is a 15-year project. And the other one is the clinical medical project, where you phone us and say, listen, Scott Jr. is ill. I don't have any money. I've lost my job. Can you please assist with medical assistance? What we then do is we take your child to a GP or an ENT or a pediatrician, whatever is most applicable, and then we take it from there. And that is the 2 programs that we're riding for, and that is to collect funds to be able to pay for all of their expenses.
Right. Okay. And last year you actually went on a long tractor ride, didn't you, to raise money?
I did. Yes, we do that. Last year was our 2nd year. That was 3,000 kilometers on a tractor. So for anybody listening, guys, doesn't matter how annoyed your wife is with you, don't do it. Okay, take a taxi or Uber. It is much better for your buttocks. So yes, indeed, we did. And this year we're going to do the same.
And I believe the top speed on that tractor is 26 kilometers per hour or something like that.
That was our average, yes. Some of the places was down to 7 kilometers an hour. And then luckily some of the places we could go top speed. I can't remember the top speed anymore. I think it was 52 kilometers an hour. That was downhill with the wind from behind and wind in your sails.
Right. Okay, now, when we last spoke to you, you were actually organizing what we're watching right now on the screen, which is the motorbikes. Well, what brought you around to doing this? I mean, what actually stimulated to set something like this up?
Okay, right. I am a firm believer that you must use what is available to you. Now, a lot of people, just to give a bit of background, a lot of people ask me, why didn't I sail around the world? I don't sail, but I can ride a motorbike. And this is our 5th year that we actually ride the 7,000 kilometers around South Africa to collect funds for children. And we decided to make it something big. I mean, it is 5 years after all. So once we've done this, Olaf and myself, Olaf is our mascot, and he sits on the back of my motorbike. We have done 35,000 kilometers to collect funds for children. And we decided to make it something spectacular. But not only to collect funds, it is a fundraising event, and it was a fundraising event. People paid 100 Rand to participate in the thing, in the ride, and that money, of course, we will use to pay for surgeries and so forth, as surgeries in South Africa is rather expensive. Not rather expensive, it is extraordinarily expensive. And that was the motivation behind it, is to tell the people outside of South Africa, like yourself, that there's not only bad things in South Africa. We all hear about the rapes and the crime and the fraud and the list is endless and endless. But I thought that if we can make this big enough, we can actually show the world that there's a lot of positive people that can make a contribution to our children in South Africa. So, and that is how the idea of the world record come up. Now, the problem, Scott, when you ride very, very long times on tractors and motorbikes, you start to think up things that you're going to regret later. And such as the plan we have next year for a 10,000 kilometer track ride. If we can make it work, the technicalities are very, very difficult because of the national roads, which we're not allowed to use and so forth. But I went off track there. Yeah, that is the reason why we did it. I must say it happened on Saturday. We had great weather, except very, very windy. The people in Jeffreys Bay call it a slight breeze. Not a slight breeze at all, in my opinion. It blew all my hair into my eyes. As you can see, I have very, very few of those. But it was a massive success. And something that I cannot describe to you if you haven't actually experienced the sound and the atmosphere and it was like winning the World Cup, honestly.
Right. Oh, that's fantastic. So, I've got this video that I'm playing, which is the bikes going along the straight stretch road. Where did they start and where did they end?
Right. We started 50 kilometers before Jeffreys Bay, just before between Storms River and Jeffreys Bay. 50 kilometers, but some of the bikers actually came from the Western Cape, so that means George, the Cape Town, and so forth. So we waited with that group, which is the group I was in. We stopped in Storms River till 11:15 to be able to join the other guys at 11 o'clock at their start point. And all the bikers coming from the Eastern Cape, from across the mountain, Oudtshoorn and those places, they were already lined up waiting for us at the start point. And I must say, the line was a few kilometers long.
Wow.
When we got the signal to start, because the road agency, of course, had to close the road for us, which they kindly did. Otherwise, it would have been absolutely chaos, and a lot of people would have been endangered. So we're very, very grateful about that. And at the steady 50 kilometers an hour, we approached them. And when I saw the first bikes, I thought, okay, these guys must just be having a smoke break because they are just before Storms River, and the start point is many kilometers further. And to my surprise, they were one after the other, and it did not stop. And when we got to Mentos Plaza, I was finished drinking a coffee. I finished a TV interview, and the bikes were still pouring in. I mean, that was something to see.
Wow. So, you took off on Saturday, and how long did the event actually run for?
An hour and a half. It takes about takes about an hour. Of course, it's 50 kilometers an hour, and we drive about 50 kilometers. But the guys have started behind us, so it was an hour and a half. So I was at the stop point a long time, a very long time, like I explained, and the last bikes were still coming in. And it was something to see, the crowd. And the one thing I'm very proud of the bikers, not a single biker misbehaved. They were like ambassadors of note for their sport and for their ride. Not a single person misbehaved. Any donuts, didn't do anything at all. So I think their behavior was exemplary, and myself and South Africa can be very proud of all the bikers that come from far, some of them from very far, to ride with us on this World Record attempt.
Right. And sorry, I'm just, as you're talking, I'm just playing a couple of clips of the bikers, and the one I'm showing at the moment is the one where. Hang on, let me get it back up again. This is the one where it's the end, and you can see all the bikes in the background, and thousands of motorbikes. Yes,
coming into Mentos Plaza.
Wow.
That gave me goosebumps, absolutely goosebumps. I mean, the waiters come up to me and said to me that was the most spectacular thing they've ever seen. And a waiter see a lot of things, especially work at a venue like that. But it was spectacular. It was very well organized. I must say the organizers everybody involved in Kuchel municipality, they were absolutely forthcoming and very excited about it, and they did everything in their power to make it possible. It really takes a village to organize a thing like this, and you need the municipality, the fire department, the traffic department, ambulance departments. You need a whole lot of departments. So many departments that, I must be honest with you, Scott, I didn't even know half those departments existed until we started organizing the time. And you had to get everybody's blessing. We were aiming for 4,500. We didn't make all 4,500, which is not a sad story, but it would have been a fantastic thing to have. Because as far as we could calculate, and our research shows, and we've done a lot of research on this, the actual existing record is 2,000, and we did 2,616, so which means we've bettered the world record with 616, and we're gonna send in our documentation, our footage, and the whole thing that we did. Each person on the bike had to be filmed. Each person on a bike had to be counted. That's why they had to ride in 2 nice rows. You have one guy standing on the bridge now, counting the left lane. You have one guy on the right side counting the right lane, and then you have a third person with the sheep counters like you use in Australia, and he counts the marshals and random people that is not in tandem. So we had to do that, and of course we made sure that each and every motorcycle is on video. Not one of them missed. And so on. So and each and every motorcycle, as it came into the program, into the 2 meters plaza, was photographed with still photographs, so we can verify everybody that was there. We can definitely make sure that nobody tried to go twice, which is not possible. But should you want to do mischief like that, so we're quite confident that when we send it in, we'll have a clear audit, and things will be awarded.
Now, there's an interesting but rather disturbing aspect to all this, and you know, I as a kid used to get the Guinness Book of Records, which had all the records, and you know, the longest long jump, and the highest building in the world, and the oldest building in the world, and you name it, it's all there in the Guinness Book of Records. Now, you told me earlier that the reason you couldn't submit this to the Guinness Book of Records is because of the admin costs and the whole
costs,
process.
yes.
Just tell us about that.
Right. Look, we're an NGO, and the quote we got from them was £10,000. Now, £10,000 in South African money is a lot of money. Well, £10,000 in pounds is a lot of money. Unfortunately for us as a NGO, I really cannot see in my mind, in my heart, that I must pay them £10,000 for something that I can rather use on children. So we decided to go with Record Setters, which is in the US, and they are much quicker and much cheaper to work with. And I was very disappointed with the Guinness Book of Records, I must be honest, because I didn't know anybody else. I thought they were the only people at the time that do these kind of things, and I thought, gee, this is the spare here, £10,000, and that is money that we actually have to generate and take off what we'll have at the end of the day, and that was just a massive amount of money. And luckily, I was advised to no, please speak to Record Setters. They do the same thing. They're just US based, and so we're going to definitely submit it to them at a virtually no cost whatsoever. So we're happy going to do that. Once I'm home, we're going to do all the editing and things, and then fill in all the paperwork that need to be done. We're going to submit that.
Right. Now, so each bike brought 100 Rand to your charity, which means that something like over $250,000 Rand would have been raised by this event.
Yes, it did.
That's fantastic.
And then, of course, you have... Yes, it's fantastic, isn't it? And then, of course, you have the people that buy my cookbook, Cooking with Doc, and, of course, the badges. And we have mugs and a whole lot of things that was for sale. key holders and so on. So we definitely look. Of course, we started out with the idea to make R500,000 with this. The economy in South Africa is bad, so I lowered my expectations quite a bit, and I decided that if we take home R500,000 from this ride, which is a massive effort, I must say, we will be pleased. With that amount of money, you can help quite a number of children already.
Yeah.
And it's not a small change anymore. So yes, it looks like it's going to happen. The ride itself made 250,000 rand. Now there's of course corporate sponsors and those kind of guys which only pay me once I'm back in White River, and they verified my odometer to see that I've actually done several thousand kilometers, which is fair enough. And so I'm very hopeful, Scott, that we will do that and maybe have a little bit of change on top of that, which will be fantastic.
Well, that is amazing. Look, Andre, I just think that your passion for kids and for helping people is just a wonderful gift that you're giving to South Africa. And it is so sad that the government there doesn't recognize the sort of work that people like you do. I speak to a lot of people who help squatter camps, and they help. We've got Anari coming on, I think, next month, and this lady's been helping abused children for years, and she gets absolutely no help, not 1 cent from the government.
Yes.
And the woman who's supposed to be in charge of that ministry gets a huge salary. There's staff who work within the department, they get huge salaries, but nothing gets passed on down to the actual people who need it. It's very, very sad.
It is. It would have been wonderful if the government would have assisted people like us. Look, I don't expect the government to just give you money. I suspect, or I would, if I was the government official in charge, I would have, done an audit on the NGO, make sure they're legitimate, they can actually do what they're doing. They must do all of those things. You must qualify for these things, but they don't have any idea what to do, how to do it, and it's certainly in all our times, and we've applied many times, and every time the response is the same, which I don't really know what it means. It says we have the wrong criteria.
I can tell you what they mean. It's called black economic empowerment in reverse. It's basically your organization doesn't have enough blackness in it. That's the problem that they have.
Yes. But what they should also keep in mind is that we help black children.
Well,
we help all children. Children don't have color, none whatsoever. We don't. A lot of the time, the people ask you, what percentage of black people do you help? What percentage of white people do you help? I don't have a staff member in my organization that is called a color counter. We don't count color.
Yeah.
A kid is a kid, and that is what it is. And that is the way I see it, and that's the way Paediatric Care Africa sees it. But obviously there seems to be a bit of an oddity in South Africa, because everybody asks you, what percentage of blacks do you help, and what percentage of whites do you help? We help 100% children.
Yeah.
Regardless of their color. And the color should not even be mentioned for a child. When a child have a stomach ache, he doesn't even know he's white, or he doesn't even know he's black, or he doesn't even know he's a color. He doesn't know that. The only thing he knows, he's got a tummy ache.
Yeah.
And you, as the adult, must please help him. That's all he wants. He doesn't want anything else. And we seem to struggle with that thing. But with Paediatric Africa, I couldn't care what language you speak. I couldn't care what religion you are. We're completely non-religious and so on, non-political. We don't care who you are. If you have a sick child, a legitimately sick child, I will do anything I could possibly do to help. That's why we have to do all of this continuous fundraising, which never ever stops, to be able to pay for these things. Just for interest sake, I mean, we've assisted over 7,000 people since we started.
Wow.
7,000 people. That's a lot. Last year we did 420 children to see a private GP or a specialist. We've done 148 surgeries. We've given out 142 tons of food.
Wow.
During COVID alone, we handed out 2.2 million meals, and that cost a lot of money, and that cost it cost money. So we do have to raise funds, and we do have to be very, very visible. We have to involve a lot of people. We always ask for doctors listening to us. Say, for example, the doctor lives in Vryheid. If he could give us 2 pro bono consultations of a child per year. So if a person that is in poverty in Vryheid phone us and say, listen, can you please help? We can send him to a GP. The GP can then just write a prescription, we pay the pharmacy, or you can say, listen, I need to refer this child to a specialist or whatever type that may be. So we're always pleading, whenever I speak to somebody, for doctors out there to get involved. Only do 2 children a year, 1 every 6 months. We don't want to break your financial system in your practice or make you any poorer or anything. We just want assistance. So it is, I must say, it is a very ongoing thing that never stops. And my concern with Paediatric Africa is it must be something that is going to be bigger and stronger long after I'm no longer here. Sustainability is absolute top priority for me because of the simple fact I cannot feed a child today and a week later I tell him, sorry, I don't have food for you. You have to be persistent all of the times, and it's a very tough thing to have to point away a mom that cries and asks for help. Her child is either hungry or the child is sick. So sustainability is what we need to do, and we have to ride bikes and tractors and have golf days and gala dinners and you name it. We have to do those kind of things because our children in South Africa deserve the best medical care that the world can offer them. They are not third world children. They are not backward children. They are just little children that need help, and that goes for all the colors of children in South Africa.
Now, Andrea, this might be a subject you don't really know much about, but you might have an opinion on it. Right now, the government is bringing out what's called the Bella Bill. Have you heard about that?
Yes, I have, but I don't know what it entails, I must be honest.
Okay, the Bella Bill is a very, very concerning bill because it's going to impact every school in South Africa, whether it be a private school like Hilton College or whether it be a public school like Krugersdorp High. Every single school in South Africa will have to go according to the Bella Bill. And one of its laws that it dictates to schools is that Christianity may not be taught in a school. I'm not joking. You cannot have prayers in a school. You cannot have church services. You cannot have any religious gathering in a school. And that you imagine how that's going to impact private schools like Michael House, who've got a chapel.
Yes.
They have services.
Yes.
They've got a priest in the school as part of the staff, and he actually is the one who talks to boys who've got issues. You know, he's like the counselor, but he's also the priest. That's a huge imposition on the education system just in that point.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I couldn't believe, but apparently this is what they're going to bring in with the Bella Bill, is that they can sell alcohol on the school grounds. Think about it.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. This is actually in the Bella Bill. And there are other things in there which are just crazy. For example, once again, if we look at private schools, people pay a lot of money to private schools because, hang on, I'm just pulling this back up again, because they get the best teachers. Sorry,
Yes.
I've just got to find out where this thing has gone. Having fun here. Where are we? Oh, it doesn't matter. I'll just make you full screen. We've seen the bikes. Now, I can hear them in the background. Okay, so getting back to this Bella Bill, if you're at a private school and you're paying, well, they pay over 200,000 Rand a year. One of the reasons the parents pay that price to these schools is because of the quality of the teacher. Now, you know, they only get the best teachers going to private schools. That's why you pay so much money. Under the Bella Bill, the government will decide who your teachers are. So if you need a history teacher, you don't go and put out an ad in the paper and say, look, my class is looking for a history teacher. You go to the government and they'll say, oh, we're going to allocate Simon and Lovo to come in and be your history teacher. Now, can you imagine how that's going to impact the quality of education in the private schools, where people are paying top dollar?
I can't even think that should. I mean, just your right of religion should be that should be that is in our bill of rights. You know, that they should not be able to take that away. If you wanna pray in your school to God, or you wanna pray in your school to anybody else, you should be able to allow to do that. You know, taking away basic principles of humanity, that is the start of a big problem. And I can say that without having to think about it too much,
Yeah.
or even knowing about it much.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of people that takes their religion very, very strong. And a lot of people rely on religion just to get through the day, because
Yeah.
the days are tough.
Yeah.
So you can't take that away. That will destroy that, and that will cause major problems.
Well, look, there's a lot. There's a lot more to the Bella Bill, but I won't talk about it here because it's not an area that you're involved in. But yeah, it is disturbing when the government impose themselves onto private schools in particular, where parents are paying a lot of money to get the best education, and of course religious freedom as well. But yeah, let's get back to your amazingly successful event that you had on Saturday. Is there anyone you would like to thank publicly about how they've helped you regarding that event?
Absolutely, quite a few of them. The first one is my wife. I mean, she's been absolutely fantastic. That lady has worked herself to death over the last few months. And then, of course, my niece, Mandy with a Y, I misspelled her name by accident once. And now I must make sure I say her name is Mandy with a Y. But also the organizers at Kucha Municipality, you know, the traffic department, the people in charge of the roads, I think they call themselves Sandral, the guys that actually closed the roads for us. And then the steering committee that organized all of those things to come together. I mean, they had the music festival organized, they had the artists organized, they had the PFS organized. It is a massive, massive thing. And then Dean, he's the guy that had the hard work of dealing with all the departments, considering the roads. And he was very, very successful, and they were all very, very forthcoming. So I'm really super happy. The only hiccup we had, and that was a little bit above my understanding, There was one toll gate in Tsitsikamma coming out from the west. We pleaded with them for months, and Dean negotiated with them and wrote them emails and going to see them and speak to them to open one road of the toll gate for us for an hour or half an hour, just so we can get the bulk of the bikes through there. Because we tried to explain to them the mathematics behind it. If you stop one biker, it'll take him over 3 minutes to pay. Because you have to take your gloves off, you have to take your helmet off, you have to get your wallet, pay, the whole thing in reverse. That will take a minimum, if you're a fast biker, a minimum of 3 minutes. If you have 1,000 bikers, that's 3,000 minutes.
That's crazy. That's 5 hours.
Yeah.
No,
Yes,
sorry,
if you have 2,000 bikers, that is a long, long time. And the only thing we wanted them to see, and we don't want them to lose business. They are a business. We understand that. We don't want to cause them financial hardship. The only thing we thought we request, because this is a thing for children and for South Africa, just open one of your gates for us for half an hour.
Yeah.
Just let us get through. They refused. So we had to, according to the reports I hear from different people, more than 900 bikers decided not to come from the Western Cape. For a simple reason is, and I would have done the same, I can't blame them, you can't stand in a queue to pay for hours when you have a event that starts strictly at 11 o'clock. You should have been there by midnight, previous night, to be able to be safely at your start point. They didn't consider our pleas or in any way or form. And that was the only time we ever had a problem with a toll gate. We've gone for toll gates many times before, Mpumalanga, Gauteng, and Limpopo, and we never had a problem. But here we did, and quite a big one. So we've lost an estimated 900 motorcycles that was going to participate in the ride. To make the numbers much more bigger, but not only that, it's also the economy that they bring to such an event. They have to put in fuel in Jeffreys Bay. They have to eat. They buy souvenirs. They have to sleep. So that's a massive financial influx into a community like Jeffreys Bay and surround by, say, 900 motorbikes. Motorbike riders are not generally very poor people anymore. It is their second or their third vehicle, and they do it for fun, and so forth. So, that would have been great if the Tsitsikamma toll gate just said, listen guys, I'll do it for you for half an hour. Get through the bike for half an hour. And if they were scared they were going to lose so much money, those same bikers had to come back. But individually, not in a group, then it's easy for them to pay.
Yeah.
So I don't think the bankers ever had a problem. But the ones I spoke to anyway had a problem in they don't want to pay the 46 rand or whatever the money was. The only concern and problem was the tremendous amount of time that you would have had to stand in the queue in the sun to be able to go through one by one by one.
That's crazy.
Now,
you had 2,616 bikers participating. So you're saying to me that you actually lost 900 bikers. It would have been 3,500 if they hadn't done that.
Our best guesstimate, yes. That is in the groups that think that they could pick up and say, listen, and bike clubs that pick up and say, listen, guys, we can't stand in a queue for 5 hours. We can't stand in a queue for 4 hours, going through one by one. It's just not, we don't have only traffic there. There's cars and there's trucks and the normal traffic's there. So that's why we thought that open the left-hand side lane for us for half an hour, and you get all the bikers to go through. Whoops. Yeah. They come, because we all drive in one big group, close the thing and continue our business. And when they go back home, of course, then they pay for the toll. So if they were so concerned about the financial aspect, not have lost that 900 bikers money completely, instead of receiving half on the return journey.
Yeah.
So, but maybe I'm seeing it wrong. Maybe I was over optimistic. I don't know. Maybe I don't understand all of these things. But it would have been great for South Africa. It would have been great for the Kuga municipality area. It would have been great for the economy if they just opened the gate for half an hour.
Yeah.
Or an hour.
Yeah, absolutely. And did you get much media coverage of your event?
Yes, thank you. Yes, we were spoiled. Thank you very much. Yes, we ran on SABC, ETV, and so forth quite a number of times. One last one that when the lady spoke to me when I was there, I'm quite sure because I just answered what I thought she was saying. It was so noisy. It was so noisy. It was so windy that I kind of tried to read her lips and then answer what I think she was saying. So I probably completely answered the wrong things, but I just couldn't hear her. So was the atmosphere and the noise in the background, and people were happy, and a lot of people that hasn't seen each other for many years met up, and it was absolutely great.
Oh, that's fantastic. And that's the important part. I think bikers love the social side of what they do, because they meet people who've got a common interest, riding bikes and so on.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the joys that bikers have, this opportunity to socialize and just have a good time.
Yes, and I mean the good thing for me about bikers that we're all brothers, and this is a true story. Once you are in a biker group and you're riding with bikers, you're not a lawyer or a garage pilot or a mechanic or an unemployed person or any of those things. You are just a biker.
Yeah.
And you're treated the same as any other biker. Doesn't matter you're standing in your social life. That has got no bearing in your bike riding. So even if you're the vice president, if you're in a biker group, you'll be just one of them.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy that everybody is exactly the same.
Yeah.
And that is great. And that's why I think that the bike riders have the skull as the emblem. I mean, I think a lot of people wondered why the bike riders have this gruesome skull as the emblem. And they probably think it's got something macabre to it, but it's not. That skull shows, in my opinion, that all people are the same.
Yeah.
And that's the reason I think why we have the skull, because without the flesh, skulls kind of look the same.
Yeah. Now, look, I'm going to wrap up this live stream shortly, but before I do, we were supposed to be going on last night, and you had some issues with the internet. It appears in South Africa that it's not just load shedding, but it's also the internet access, which is now becoming problematic. Do you want to tell us what happened?
Sure. We had connectivity, or we had access with no connectivity. And then there was load shedding. I think what happens, this is my theory, what happens, I don't really know, is the towers, the batteries go flat because half the batteries are stolen. And they no longer put in generators there because they are stolen. So these things go flat, and then of course there's no towers to submit or to whatever the things. But it's becoming very, very common in South Africa that when you go to especially smaller places, 5 minutes after load shedding, 10 minutes after load shedding, the internet is down. So in the bigger cities, when they have a bit of backup system, I'm sure it's better. But I have not had the problems else than at my house. I also had it once or twice, but we have a backup system. And then on this trip, quite a few times, especially in smaller things, people ask me to talk to me, and then load shedding, no signal. And then we try a Zoom on my phone, and it's just there's not just nothing. It's actually unnerving to think that if you have an emergency and you need to call somebody,
You can't.
you won't be able to do it.
Wow.
You can only do it when the government switch on your power that you pay for, and that is unusual.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, there's some pretty ordinary things happening in South Africa. Let's face it. But mate, look,
Yes.
I just want to say from the Loving Life community, well done, congratulations. I mean,
Thank you.
it was a fantastic effort, and it's a shame that these people who own the toll didn't just let those bikers through, because 900 extra bikers would have brought in 90,000 extra rand for you, and that's all for
Yes.
charity. So you've probably lost about 150,000 rand through that action.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, they carry on.
yeah, carry on.
If you do a very quick calculation, just in the fuel, if each person put in 15 liters of fuel,
Yeah,
we're talking a lot of money, and buy, two burgers and coffee and a beer. We're talking a lot of money. It's big numbers of people.
yeah,
But it is what it is. I'm very happy with the way it was organized. I think it was superbly organized. There was nothing wanted. There was nothing out of place. There was nothing I thought, oh, we should have done this. The organizers and my niece, Mandy, with a Y, she did a fantastic job.
right. And one final question: the bikers, most of them would have been from South Africa. Where else did bikers come from to be part of this event?
All right, we had bikers from Namibia, Windhoek, and other parts of Namibia. We had from Swaziland, we had from England, Indonesia, and then we had a few bikers that they're South Africans, but they work in other countries, and I actually came back especially for the bike ride. They hired bikes here, and then they rode with us. So it was quite an international affair. And there's another nationality as well, but I can't recall where it's from. Poland, I think, but I'm not sure. But yes, we had quite a few nationalities here, and a Dutchman. Yes, there was a Dutch person as well. So yeah, we're quite international, and hopefully the next time we do it, it'll be much more international, because it's great for us if it's international. Then
Right.
these people go back to their countries and they can actually tell a little bit of what is happening here, and so on. We need good stories in our lives. We do need, I think, not only bad and bad. We need some uplifting stories like this one, a story that make you proud a little bit, make you smile when you have nothing else,
Right. Now,
with goosebumps and a lot to talk about after the bike ride. Well, I know I do.
Andre, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and I look forward to covering future events that you have. And so, your next big thing is a truck, 10,000 kilometers, you said.
That is next year. Yeah, I first have this year the tractor, 3,000 kilometers, the same as the one as we did last year. And then we're planning for a world record tractor ride for 10,000 kilometers. Now that is a logistic nightmare, because there's so many places in the country that you can't ride on national roads. So what's going to happen is we're going to probably spill over to Namibia to take up some of the kilometers, and go via Windhoek, and so on. So yeah, we're working on it. But it'll be 10,000 kilometers. Our original plan was we do the same as we do with the bike ride now, which is 7,000.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you come down South Africa, that's 1,500. Go up South Africa again, and that gives you the 10,000 kilometers. But there's quite a few highways in between us and that. So we're looking at all kinds of options. We have to work with the authorities in South Africa as well. So, but I must say the traffic authorities are normally very helpful. They normally say, "This we'll escort you."
Right.
As long as it's not 5 o'clock in the morning, we will escort you.
Well, good luck with that one. It's going to be a lot of fun with all the potholes on the roads.
Yeah, yes, it's going to definitely. I'm going to get myself a special cushion. Um, I'm going to go to my orthodontist friend and I'm going to tell him, listen, make me a cushion for my butt, man.
All right, buddy. Have a great evening, and it's been lovely chatting to you. And once again, well done.
Yeah, thank you. And if I do look a bit haggard tonight, it was a long, long ride through this road from Port St. John's to Durban today.
Wow. Are you in Durban now?
Yes, we're out in Durban an hour and a half ago.
Did you come up via a Cockstad that way, or through the
Yeah,
Free
we
State?
go through Tata, Makisi, I think it's called Flagship or
Flagstaff.
Flagpole.
Flagstaff.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
and so on. And then we went all the way with the highway. We first met some friends for lunch quickly, some bikers, and then we came here. So we arrived quite late. The road was very, very slow. I must say the curves in that area is beautiful to ride. I love the curves, but for every curve there's a fair amount of donkeys, and a little bit further down the road there's a fair amount of potholes and humps and goats.
I think the biggest danger are the African taxis. I remember travelling along that road from East London, Umtata, Flagstaff, what's it called? Anyway, and then through Cockstad, and then down to Port Shepstone, and then from Port Shepstone up to Durban. And those taxis, wow.
Yes, they're still the same. You didn't remember him incorrectly. I must say, I'm not going to show you, but if you look at my hand, one of my fingers are much more muscular than the other ones because of the taxis.
Okay, I guess that was the middle finger, was it?
I'm not going to say, as you say, children's programs.
All right, buddy. Take care. Have a great evening.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye for now. All right, guys. That was Dr. Andre Hattingh, and of course he organizes these amazing events. And well, you've seen the bikes in this video. Now I'm going to go out with another theme song, and I think the one that fits this event perfectly is Ons vir jou Suid-Afrika. Here it comes. Have a great evening, everybody, and tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Johannesburg time, we will have another live stream. I'm just not sure whether it's going to be Dean Chansey or something else. Just as Marlena is here, I'm still trying to get hold of Dean. I've got all his material, but yeah, I haven't actually got hold of him yet, just for the record. All right, guys, have a great evening. Here comes Ons vir jou Suid-Afrika.
Uit die blou van ons hemel, uit die diepte van ons see, hoor ons ver verlate vlaktes waar die kranse antwoord gee. Ons sal antwoord op jou roepstem, ons sal offer wat jy vra. Ons sal lewe, ons sal sterwe, ons vir jou Suid-Afrika. Ek wil antwoord op jou roepstem, maar nie offer wat jy vra. Das bloed op die plase van boere wat hulp vra. S'nags hoor jy die sirenes, maar jy kyk ander pad. Niks daarvan op TV, net soms in die koerant. Daar's kieme in die water, Eskom gee beerdkrag. Rioolstank in die strate, daar's 'n oorlog wat wag. Gery maar op ons paaie, mense maak net wat hulle wil. Arm blankes in kampe, maar jy bly liewer stil. Uit die se